What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Sci-Fi Center. It's your Vegas home for science fiction, horror, and fantasy. From comic books, toys, and posters to movie screenings and live events, they've got you covered. Located at 900 Cameron Avenue, Suite B209, give them a call, 702-900-4335, or reach them at thescificenter.com.
Hi. Hey.
What's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On Hot 7025fm.com.
It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood. And are you looking for the perfect drink? Well, you found it. Mimosa Royale is the perfect combination of California sparkling white wine and natural juice that is both tasty and refreshing. No artificial colors or flavors, no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. As the world's first ready-to-drink mimosa, Mimosa Royale is perfect for any occasion, day or night. You no longer have to drink 12 of those seltzers just to get that perfect buzz. At 8% alcohol, Mimosa Royale is the perfect drink to party with. Offered in a variety of flavors and sizes, you are bound to find a Mimosa Royale that you'll love. We have berry, mango, apple, and orange, with more flavors to come. Mimosa Royale is the most award-winning flavored wine that serves in bottles or cans. You can find them online at drinkmimosa.com or find them at your local liquor store. Ask for it by name. Mimosa Royale.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.
It's about that time, baby. It's hump day. What it do? What's everybody doing out there? It's hump day. And you know where you at. You're at the number one place in the land for advice, the number one advice column, online or live and in person. Yeah, today, you know, it's 115 degrees out there. I know y'all saw me this morning. Some of y'all may have checked me out this morning, back on the Morning Wood on Wednesday mornings right now. So make sure y'all tune in early Wednesday mornings as well before you check in with me on Wednesday afternoons at Holla at the Homies. So I got a little glare going on my glasses right here, so I really don't like that a whole bunch. So let me get rid of that in the back like that. You know what I mean? And boom. See, did that help? Not at all. Still got that coming from my screen. We got McFadden in the building. What's up, Kareem Canty? You in the building today? It's special that she popped on because in a moment we're going to have her come on here after we introduce what's going on. What's going on, Dakarai? Yeah, I know you seen me with your Raiders on. That's only because I'm all about matching my colors. And since the Raiders are here in Vegas, then, I have adopted them as a secondary team. I know that's your team, Dakari. I know it is. Been your team for a very long time. So even though you fresh out of Chi-Town, what's going on, Lucy Lowe in the building? What's up, babe? I know you out of Chi-Town, but I know you're a Raiders fan. And I wore this one just for those for y'all out there that are the fans of the Raiders. The Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders. That's who they are now. But so today we got part one of a series that we got going on. Last week's letter touched me so much, and it really wanted me to kind of put focus on how to make people become successful in their own right? So how you can get people to or talk to people who have become successful in their own right, and maybe that'll help inspire some of us others to do the same. So what I've done now is I've compiled a series of a couple to a few different individuals who I consider to be successful, who have left the corporate world and who are now, on a trajectory, on a path right now towards even more success financially, mentally, all those things in between. What's going on, Arthur Myla, Denise? So I love to see people who have stepped away from the traditional 9 to 5 and have jumped out here on their own in the waters and said, what's happening? We're going to see what it do. So like I said before, we got one of my friends / sister from another mister / newly appointed life coach, Kareem Canty. We're going to bring her on here in just a moment. And we got a few questions for her. We're going to talk to her. We're going to let her explain a few things and give you a chance to kind of know exactly who she is, what she does, and how she's made that transition. So, pardon me, I got to get my seating together over here. But so without any further ado, what's going on, Jorge? Good to see you, bro. I'm going to see you tonight too, dog. Let me go live with Kareem Canty on here. And away we go. Let me see what we got over here. What you saying over here, E? Oh, dang, I could have gave you the link on the other side, Coco. Hey, what's going on, Sister Kareem? So, Hey, what's going on? Not much on this end. I think I may do me a favor, text me your email as well so I can get your email to my engineer so we can get you on both sides too. Okay. So if you do me a favor, just send it, but I don't want you to put it in that. I will get you my email. I'll get your email if you can put it on my Facebook if you got a chance. If not, we'll rock with it right here for you. But thanks for coming on. I know you got a lot going on down there in the A. I don't know if it's storming still down there. I know it was raining a little bit down there yesterday. But I don't know if it's still raining.
It was this morning, but now
okay. See, that's one of the benefits. I just threw that in there because that's one of the benefits of when you work for yourself. You ain't got to worry about what traffic you got to drive in to get to the gig, right? What's going on, Lucky? Lucky got something to say. Okay, that's what's up, Jorge. I'll see you tomorrow, bro. Yeah, so we just appreciate you for coming on here. What's going on, Lulu Tally? I appreciate you for coming on here and taking a few moments out your day to kind of give us a chance to explain what it is that you do and things of that nature. So first, I want to ask you, tell the people what is it that you do now and what did you leave coming into your current position?
Yeah, so now I do life and leadership coaching. So I help people level up their life and leadership through life design and personal well-being. And I also am a play expert. I have a whole other company where we use play and improv and go into companies to make work better, since work is one of the things that make us most miserable as adults.
Yes.
If we could fix that, make it a little bit more fun, make it a little bit more people-centered, then we can all be a lot more happier.
Okay, understandable on that, right? Understandable on that regard. So, with that being said, let me see. I'm gonna try to get you closer to my other speaker real quick. I may have to just put you down here on the computer. With that being said, so you said you're a play expert. So, what does that mean? What does that mean to say that you're an expert at play? Like, what does that mean to you? Like, explain that to us.
Well, first, I think we're all experts at play when we're born,
Mm-hmm.
and then as soon as we start getting a little bit up in school, we're taught to stop playing, right? We're taught that you got to be responsible, stop playing when you're at school, stop playing when you're around other people, and we forget, and then we become these responsible, miserable adults.
Mm.
I've been doing improv for over 15 years, and through studying improv and studying the science of play and just remembering how to play myself as an adult, I've not only experienced it in my own life, but I understand what it does to our brain. I understand what it does to our nervous system, and I understand what it does to be able to shift our moods when we're needing.
Okay. What's going on, Pete Wheezy? What's going on? Hot 7025. What's up, Maureen O'Malley? Okay, so now, I'm real big on acronyms. So is play an acronym for anything, or is just the art of doing just that, playing around?
Yeah, so in my company Shift to Play that I co-founded with Yoshi, shout out to DJ Yoshi.
DJ Yoshi.
Shout out to him. Play is an acronym. We've developed a proprietary framework. So the P stands for presence.
Okay.
Which is something we all could do a little bit more in life.
Mm-hmm. Being present.
The more we can show up to life, the better our lives are. The L is for laughter, because we should be having belly laughs at work. Work should be fun. Laughter does a lot to our body, mind, and spirit. It's good medicine. The A is for agility, because when you remember how to play, you learn how to think quicker, you learn how to be on your feet, you learn how to be innovative. And it's not just agility. And lots of times when we say that word, right, we think of sports, we think of being able to be agile with our bodies. But really, we want to be agile with our minds too, especially as we get older. So play helps to keep our minds agile. Okay. And the Y is yes and, which is the number one rule with improv, right? Not negate each other. Let's learn how to say yes and build things together.
Instead of saying but, yes, and you just add on to what they got going on, opposed to just sitting there and just okay, yeah. I was trying to get you on this link real quick, but just do me a favor, text me your email address and I'll send that over to my engineer and she'll send something to you, because they're having a hard time hearing you on the Facebook side of things. I want to make sure everybody's getting a chance to experience the totality of what Corrine Canty is. So.
I'll ask Lucy Lou to text you since I'm on the phone.
Oh yeah, duh, you are on the phone. Hello, McFly. Lucy Lowe text me that text me her email address. I don't know why I didn't have that in the first place. Should have had that way earlier.
Anybody out there who knows my email.
Right, somebody out there know her email that know my phone number. What's going on, Angel? So pretty. Good to have you in the building, daughter. But yeah, so continuing on. So you got presence, you got laughter, you got agility, and you got yes and. So that is, I like, anybody knows me know I love acronyms. So that is a beautiful acronym to kind of get people to understand what it means to still be in the presence of play. Okay.
Yes.
So now, with that being said, what do you feel was the most, coming from like Amway and all these things like that? What do you feel was the most, the biggest sacrifice that you made that really led to your success, or that catapulted you towards that said success?
So I think, well, my sun sign's Capricorn, so I was kind of born with work ethic. But from a young age, I looked around in my environment and realized like I needed to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
I was also a mother at a very young age, so that's really what drove everything that I did.
Right.
And so I knew that I wanted to provide my kids with a life that was one I wish I would have had as a child, like we all do, right?
Right.
But nobody around me knew how to do that or was doing that life, so I just had to figure it out. And so I think a lot of the sacrifice that I made being a single mom was not being there in the ways that I wanted to, and not being able to spend some of the time and nurture and be at all the games or the events or the school things because I had to work.
Right.
So, I did the thing the society told me to do. They're like, you got to go to college, get a good job with benefits to be able to be a responsible parent. So I did all the things, checked all the boxes, climbed the ladder, got the fancy title, the house, the money, all of that. My kids have had a very good life, but hindsight's everything, right? So I see that I could have gotten all of that in different ways, but society tells you no. At least they told us back then.
Right.
There were other to do it right. Our kids now are proving us wrong because they figured out different ways to do things. Like my son is the main example of that. And just by
Work for you.
I think in some ways, especially when I think about my family, like through most of my years building my career, like my main focus was my kids. Even if I was in a relationship during that time, what I cared most about was like, am I showing up as a mom? Because to me, that was my primary role, my primary job. And I think now that my children are grown, I realize in some ways, I think it impacted them that I did in ways I didn't think about. In other ways where I thought it was like a really, really big deal and a detrimental thing, that they learn their own resilience and they learn their own way in life. And so there's always a balance. I think that there's many things I would do differently, but I also recognize that watching them be able to navigate and move now, they learn from watching me, and then they learn from watching me learn how to do things differently. Right? They've had that experience of us kind of growing up together and seeing and being able to pick and choose what they wanted to take from my experience and apply to their own lives.
Okay. Now I'm loving that, because that effect on your family life was a beneficial effect. Some people may like, their sacrifice, it took a toll on them. Whereas, yes, it may have gave them a little bit of confusion in the beginning as far as like, where's mom at? You know what I mean? Things like that. Like, but then you kind of you were showing them instead of just producing for them. So I'm thankful that you explained how those two things were able to come to balance. Because a lot of people who may be looking at this may be like, man, how do I get it to where my kids will understand? Because people think like, I don't want to abandon my children, especially now. But if I make this move for us, I think it'll be better for us in the long run. Because, as you said, you've shown that it was more beneficial to you when it was all said and done. Like, even though it may have been struggle bus in the middle, it was more beneficial to you when it was all said and done. Okay, right. So I get that. I dig that. Okay, so that showed how your family and everybody, reacted to your sacrifice. Now, one of the other questions I like to ask is like, is there a time when you had to like choose between like your professional advancement and your personal life, and like, how'd you go about making that decision?
Yeah. I mean, I think there are several points when I had to choose. So there were what I would call a lot of micro moments of choosing to go to that meeting, go on that work trip, or go to, the game or the school function. And lots of times in those areas, work would win.
Okay.
But then there were also some of, the big macro moments where there might have been a job offer or a company willing to like pay way more or really advance my career, but I wouldn't have the flexibility to do the things I needed to do as a mom, and I'd have to say no. So I think there's that balance of there's always, there's that line that I always had to make that decision on of, even though there's things I missed, I still made sure that I was in roles and in industries where I had enough flexibility that, I remember I worked in advertising agencies most of my career. So there's days where I'd go pick James up from daycare, bring him back to the agency and keep working, right? Not every career would allow me to do that. My kids have been in my office, but that also means they saw what a work environment looks like. And so there's,
And James is a walking advertisement. Like, he is a walking billboard. So that through osmosis leaked into his energy. You know what I mean? That's real. Like, we were talking about that, like me and a couple of the guys a little while ago, like how some of us ended up at work with our parents, like during the summer and stuff like that. Like, we ended up somewhere, like if our parents had one of those jobs and we didn't have any daycare or any summer programs to go to, yeah, we may be in the office learning how to file papers at 10. Right. You know what I mean? So for him to go to the ad agency, whether he's sitting back there coloring or whatever, James always been a little baby genius anyway. So he was, communicating, getting questions, you know what I mean? And it like that. Okay, so real quick question. Did you get the email with the link from my engineer? I'm sorry, your computer not in front of you. Never mind. I didn't know if it popped up on your phone. No, because what we'll do is we'll take a break. Grab that real quick, because again, I want both audiences to be able to see that. And my apologies for not having that set up for you in the beginning. So we'll take a break from you. That way I can field some questions from the people in the field. I'll keep them going while you grab your computer, because she sent you an email link that's going to give you the StreamYard. That way you can be back on this one and on the other one. That way everybody can get you. Okay. So all right. So go ahead and take, pop out for a second. We'll come back to you in just a moment. Let me know when you're ready to link back in. Okay. Got
it.
Much appreciado. So to my engineer, I know you're out there listening. She's going to pop over, do that for us right now. And then when she comes back, then we'll go back to just the part with just me. Okay. So I think she blinked out the screen, but she'll probably just bounce back on in just a minute. So I'm glad that y'all are all here for these things. So y'all, the people who are out there contemplating how to make this happen, because you've seen it occur. Okay. Oh man. So there's a whole bunch going on. So I'll just go onto my IG, onto my Bluetooth, like so. And then we'll go from there. Yeah. So I'll just go to my Bluetooth on my IG and make it happen. Y'all know, y'all bear with us, because we out here on this thing, making it happen. Let me see, make sure I'm all connected on here. Yeah, we'll disconnect from over here and we'll get it going on. So, but anyway, so those of y'all who are out there trying to figure out how to make it happen in the world. I'm sorry, I blinked out the screen. Yeah, for those of y'all out there trying to, you say you learned your office job from who? From dealing with your working in the summers. Exactly, McFadden. That's where a lot of us learn how to work in a real office environment, being somewhere with mom or dad or grandma or somebody while we out of school for the summer, and they not leaving us at the crib just yet. So, it's more along the lines like it's a swim out there in these streets. So you got to understand that it's always going to be a possibility for people to balance both life and work, especially when you're trying to make a transition in regards to a career change, right? So, so it's totally fine for anybody out there who's trying to make this contemplation, who's trying to make this jump. So we're talking to somebody who's made this. She left a literal 6-figure gig, like high six figures, and went into work for herself, and she's already back to where she was damn near, or maybe even beyond. I don't know everybody's pockets like that, but she left a 6-figure gig to go to work for herself because she felt it would benefit her family more in the long run, and for that to happen, you got to have like cojones, man. So anybody who's afraid at the moment, anybody who's scared right now, and fear is just false evidence that appears real, anybody who is afraid to make that jump, then here's an example of somebody who took it and explained that the jump wasn't as easy as she thought it may have been, but it wasn't as tumultuous either. She rolled with the punches. Her and her family, she packed them up, metaphorically, and took them along with her. She, and that made a difference. That made a difference. Oh, you didn't get it? You didn't get it, Cole?
Let me check my spam.
Yeah, because it should have came through as a StreamYard, just because I sent it. I think I sent it the right email. Yeah, let me see. .canty. Yeah, that's what I sent. At least I thought I did.
We're gonna get it together.
We're gonna get it together, but if not, we're just gonna keep it rolling right over here. You know what I mean? We'll make it happen. I'll just repeat what you say to make sure everybody inside the other side works it. We do things on the fly. We transition. This is how it is. I'm trying to make this transition. We improv it. Exactly. What's going on, KJ Mom Forever? What's going on, D-Star Consultants? So all these people that's popping on here, these are other individuals who are interested in, if they aren't already business people themselves or in business for themselves, then they're people who are trying to figure out how to make that transition and make it as seamless as possible, right? So my next question for you, because like I said, we're just going to keep it going. A lot of times people's hobbies or habits come into play in regards to whether or not they're going to change careers. Like, if I can't do this, then I won't be able to do that. Like, even if it's something like the softball team that they play on a weekly basis, did you have to eliminate any hobbies or any passions to focus on this new career?
Well, I turned my passion and my hobby into a business. So
there it is.
I think that, I feel like when I was young, I thought I would go to art school and be this creative person, right?
Okay.
And then I had a baby, and it was like, now I gotta do the responsible thing. So I went into advertising, which was creative enough, right? But all my side hustles were my creative outlets through my whole career. So I've never just had one job. I've always had jobs or side hustles that were in things that I like to do. So those are more of my hobbies, or my hobby was something I could do with my kids. Shout out to James for making me get a black belt in Taekwondo.
Right.
There's ways to make it work. So I didn't have to give up any hobbies to do this career, but I think a lot of people don't recognize that when you become an entrepreneur, like, it's not a 9 to 5, it's a 24/7. Right? So you have to learn even more how you want to spend your time. I don't believe in work-life balance. I think it's a fallacy because you can't balance two things that are not separate, and work is a part of life. It's not a separate thing.
Say that again. Say it for the people. You said you don't believe in work-life balance because you feel it's a fallacy, because you can't balance two things that are a part of each other, because you feel like work is a part of life and life is a part of work. Oh, say it for the people in the back so they can hear. Go ahead. Keep talking. Huh? You said
you can balance your nervous system. You can balance how much rest you get, how you take care of yourself. And so life has many different slices of the pie, and none of them are ever going to be balanced. But you got to understand which slice is the biggest slice right now, right? And understand that those other slices ain't going to get the attention that the big slice is going to get, and that it's going to always weave and pivot. So how do you try to find more harmony in your life? How do you try to get a little bit more of the joy out of all those slices than necessarily the pain, or the things that you don't enjoy? And I think that's where a lot of people struggle, because now we're constantly hearing this, like, work-life balancing, and there's so many people that I'm hearing, like, I need to quit my corporate job so I can have work-life balance. And it's like, well, there might be habits that you have and ways that you have your day set up to make you feel like that, right? So it's more like, how do you want to spend your days? Because
Mm.
that's the most important question to ask. So even when I was a COO and I had all these people coming to me saying, Corey, how do I get the VP title? How do I get to, the salary that I want to make? My first question was always, how do you want to spend your days? Like, put the company to the side. I don't want to know what you think you need to do for the company. I want to know how you want to live your life. And let's see if the company can be mutually beneficial to you in the way that you are to the company. And that's whether it's your own company
Okay.
or you're someone else. But if you're not clear on how you really want to spend your life, which is how you want to spend your days, because that's the only thing real. It's like right now, today, what's happening?
Yeah.
Everything else is like past or future, and we all know. So I think that's the most important thing that I learned, especially having done both.
Okay, so let's recap a little bit for those who just tapping in with us. We got Kareen Canty on the line, and she's left the corporate world. Like I told you all before, 6-figure gig, like work, like living her life to go into work for herself. Not only because she feels like she can make it better for herself, but it also is more beneficial for her and her family, right? So, and I asked her a couple questions like, what sacrifice did she feel like she made the most, and how did her family feel like? How did she feel like it affected her and her family life? And the main important caveat that I got from it, as far as like affecting her family life, is the one in regards to where she said it was a benefit to her family, to her and her children, because they were able to learn along with her while she was working in corporate America. So that way, when she transitioned, once they were all grown by the time she transitioned, she played it like chess, not checkers. And they were able to benefit from her doing that. So it was more understandable what mommy was doing. So, and another thing that she just said about herself is like, she said how she doesn't want to she don't believe you can do a work and life balance, because she feels like it's hard to balance two things that are apart, to balance two things separately that are so intertwined with one another, meaning life being a part of work and work being a part of life. So that's just a recap so far. And we also asked her like what sacrifices as far as hobbies and things of that nature she wanted to make. And she really talked about how when people come to her in the corporate world, she asked them how would they want to spend their days. If they're trying to ask somebody how they want to go about becoming this next person, ask them how you want to spend your days, meaning how do you want to live your life, company aside. Again, because if your name's not on the building, that company don't give a damn about you. I say that all day. If my name's not on the building, I can't give you all of me. So company aside, how do I want to spend my days? How do I want to essentially live my life? And that's where we are right now as far as in our conversation. And she asked herself that question, and it wasn't lining up with how it was in corporate America, because again, she wasn't able to align all the things she wanted to do and have her balance her nervous system in life to not be so sporadic and spread out everywhere. What you say over here, Ray Butler? You say my wife did the same thing. Currently have her own business. Best decisions for the family. Again, that's what I like to hear. I like to hear people saying that things are the best decision that they made, because you, for one, have to make the decision first and foremost. You can't contemplate and sit there and play double dutch and hope that you can get all the way through Miss Mary Mac. If you don't even get in there, they can't even start singing Miss Mary Mac until you actually jump in and double dutch, right? So again, appreciation on that. So now you did say something about you able to balance your nervous system, right? So is that like what you feel like your sacrifices were beneficial to your well-being in that regard? Or did it like take a toll on you to a point where it was almost like, oh, was I supposed to do this? Did you ever question your decision? If whether it's dealing with health or life or situations in life.
So the nervous system thing comes more into how much I burnt myself out during my corporate career.
Okay.
So there was a time when I was, doing what I thought was the thing to do. Like, the motto of like, sleep when I die, hustle, grind, like I'm gonna get it now so I can live well later. So you ignore your body, right?
Okay.
You're on calls all day. You miss lunch. You don't sleep. You're up on the computer late at night. You're doing all the things, and then it starts to feel like you're normal. So you don't think that you're hurting yourself.
This is true.
You ignore the little pains, the little aches, the exhaustion, because exhaustion becomes an everyday thing. You start to ignore all these whispers that our bodies give us. And then one day the whispers turn into shouts.
Ooh.
And then one day the shouts turn into roars.
Ooh.
And I got to my body just shut down. I was in bed for 3 months. Western medicine sent me to audiologists. Nematologist. They sent me. They couldn't figure it out.
See?
I ended up going to a functional doctor and leaning into my own studies. Right, I've been studying yoga, Ayurveda, all of these Eastern medicine studies. But I was helping other people. Like I didn't work. I teach mindfulness. I'd be doing all these things, but I wasn't using my own tool belt. So once I finally went to someone who looked at my lifestyle and did all the tests that won't do, the insurance won't cover,
right,
to find out what was really going on in my body, I recognized that, we use words at work that seem life-threatening. Like, oh, that's just another fire at work.
Right. Oh, see, words have power.
Our body doesn't know the difference. Our body has a very archaic biological system. So if there's a threat, it's going to turn on our fight and flight, which a lot of us don't really understand what happens when that's activated. We know the language, like we hear fight, fight, fight,
right.
But what happens is all of your major organs and parts of your brain go on like super low mode. Like, let me just shut down to low and not use that much energy. And it puts all the energy in your arms, legs, and your jaw because it's thinking you're going to have to fight this tiger or run from it.
Right.
But in modern society, that's happening all the time, but we're not even moving our bodies. We're just sitting at death. So, when you watch the nature shows and the lion's going to get the gazelle or whatever, and it gets away, first thing it does is it shakes it off.
Okay.
We're not even doing that.
We're not shaking it off.
And it builds up. And when your system's on low, shut down, eventually your organs are just going to stay there.
This is true.
They're not, your sympathetic nervous system's not going to be able to come back online until you do things to allow it to, because everything's misfunctioning. And that's what happened to me. And it took me a while to pinpoint it, reset my whole body, and recognize, like, nothing else matters when you can't even work.
This
when
is
you can't
true.
get out of bed, when you can't do the thing, when you can't pour from an empty cup. So once you run yourself to the point where you can't do it anyway, you start to really recognize how important it is to take care of yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And it's funny because, like, in your speech, you're knocking off a couple of other questions that I have written down over here, so they would be redundant to ask a few of them. So I like, all right. So one of my questions I wanted to ask you is, like, how do you perceive, like, the trade-off between success and personal sacrifices now that you've reached those goals? Like, how do you perceive that trade-off? Like, tell me more about that. Like, do you see that as, like, yes, like it was, percentage wise, you look at it like just win versus loss? Like, how do you perceive that trade-off?
In terms of what is now being
versus a corporate career?
Yes, there we go.
Yep. Now we up in both places, so.
I know. I'm gonna turn this echo off over here. I'm gonna just do here. Boom, boom, boom. Why is it still going? I hate that.
Technology, you gotta mute it.
Yeah, I gotta mute something. Oh, I gotta mute my thing over here. Duh. There's Milo. All right, there we go. We good now, right?
Well, Milo and Lucky got to make their appearances. We can't be talking and they not get something in, right?
Right. They're gonna get their love. They're gonna get their life together. Lucky came in and popped on the screen. Milo made his vocal appearance in the back, barking at whoever outside. It's too hot to be barking, too hot to go out there. But as long as we don't have no feedback now, we good on feedback now.
Yeah, I'm not hearing any.
Okay, good. I can turn me back up over here on Instagram side of things. Okay, so now just to recap, get people back on page. We talked about, like, the most significant sacrifice. We talked about the hobbies and stuff you had to get rid of. And I just asked you the main question about how do you perceive the trade-off between the success and personal sacrifice? If you can repeat that for me one time, as far as, like, in regards to now that you are this entrepreneur, in regards to you now being able at your goal reach, how do you look at that as, like, was it all worth it?
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like everything is a trade-off, right? And I feel like life is still in progress. So in hindsight, like, all of the work that I did in corporate and the burnout, I had an amazing career. Like, I got to do amazing things. I traveled, I had amazing clients. It took a toll on my health, but that was because of my habits and my choices and what I allowed in life, right? And so one thing I learned when I first switched and, like, left corporate to take a break, like, that first week after decades of always having, I never took a break in between jobs, and I stayed at jobs for a long time. So that first week, right? The first couple days, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna chill. After the first week, I found that my nervous system needed the pressure. It didn't know what I was filling the space. I was creating busyness for no reason. So the reality is, it doesn't matter if you're in a corporate job or you're an entrepreneur or you're learning whatever it is that you're doing to make a living. What's important is how you're designing your life, because you can burn out doing something you love,
Right.
if you don't prioritize rest and you don't prioritize eating right and you don't prioritize those types of things. And so every day is a trade-off. Every day you have decisions. Are you putting yourself first? Are you taking care of yourself? Is what I'm doing now going to have my 80-year-old self looking back, smiling, or sitting with a pile of regrets? And so I feel like I'm still in progress. I don't feel like there was a trade-off from like going from corporate to entrepreneurship. I feel like I'm in this season, and I might have a different season after this. Who knows? What it is I learned how to be in alignment with myself and recognize what I need in this current season, and not to feel like there has to be this one or the other, which I think sometimes happens in society, especially right now. I think it's get to know yourself and what you really want. And when you really understand like how you want to live your days, then every decision you make is based off, is this getting me closer to my ideal lived day or not? And that way you're making decisions in alignment with who you want to be in the world and how you want to live versus what you do.
Okay. All right. Much appreciated. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope, you know. And again, I appreciate you coming on here, filling us in with some blanks and letting us know what you got going on and how it all came about. So, you know, so I'm letting them know again that, you know, she is the co-founder of Play, meaning that's, you know, having presence, laughter. What happened?
Shift to play.
Oh, shift to play. That means you got to change gears, not just, don't just play around. You actually have to transition and shift gears to be able to play. So I'm digging that. I'm digging that. And that's having presence, laughter, agility, yes, and meaning being present in the moment, having those gut busting belly laughs daily because they're so healthy for you. Having the agility, not just to physically move, but in life being able to transition and move around and maneuver. And then the yes, and don't go against the grain all the time. You know, sometimes you got to be able to just say yes and this. It may not be completely what you're saying. It may be that and some of what I've got to offer. So again, we thank you, Kareem, for coming on. We appreciate you. I'm gonna get you off of here because I know we're having some engineering problems. And we'll get off of Instagram and all this other kind of stuff. I'm probably echoing in another area. I don't know why it's doing it now. It's never done it before. But you know, it is what it is. You know, you technology be hating. You know what I mean? So yes, good question. Yeah, good question there, Lucy Lowe. How can the people find you, Kareem? Because I let them know that you are, you know, my newly appointed life coach. I don't know if you know it or not, but you know, how can the people find you? Make sure I'm gonna put that. We'll put that in the chat. I'll make sure I let them know how they can find you. How can they get a tag?
Yeah, it's real easy. My website is CoreanCanty.com. First name, last name, CoreanCanty.com. And I'm Corean Canty on all socials. So come find me.
There it is. So I'll type her name in there if y'all didn't see her on there. This is Corean Canty. She's the ish. So thank you for coming on here and letting us smell a little bit of your ish. I'm gonna continue the show going on, and we'll talk about you a little bit while you get off the air, and we'll let some people tap in with you. So again, appreciate you taking time out of your busy day and coming to Shifting and Play over with us over here on Holla at the Homie on hot7025fm.com. So love you, sister. The people from the station said they need a do-over, so they may need you to come back and come on here again so they can get you know, anytime. So they said anytime to my engineers and stuff like that. Maybe I could have you on early in the morning for us, not early for you, because it'd be 12 o'clock your time for a morning wood on a Wednesday too, if we talking business that fit in with you. Okay, so have a great rest of your day. I talked to JJ via IG today, so we should be linking up. He's here in Vegas, so we should be talking tomorrow at worst case scenario. So
awesome.
All right. Talk to you soon. Now, I'm gonna make sure I put all your info in the chat line for everybody to be able to see. Okay. TTYL. There it was. Kareen Canty has left the building, left the visual chat. She's still hanging in there like a hubcap in the fast lane on the other side. I'm gonna type all that information in there for y'all right now. But over here on this other side on Facebook first, because I got the bigger type of keyboard over here. I can't really do it with my thumbs up here on this screen as fast. But you know, if somebody out there want to put either Myla Denise, author, or Lucy Lowe want to put Kareen Canty's information in there, we'll make sure we get it all on there for you as well. So that's COREAN Canty CANTY.com. There it is, y'all. There she is. Look at Hot 7025. She already got it on. Look at you, engineer. There we go. Kareen even got on there and put her own stuff on there. That's what I'm talking about. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. So there it is, y'all. So today was part 1 of this series. So like I said, last week I had that letter that was written in asking, you know, for advice on how to keep the motivation going, on how to get out of a rut and get out of our own way. So I decided to come up with this series it's called Sacrifice for Success, because it takes some sacrifices. It takes you giving up on something to pursue something that you want or desire, right? So we talked to Kareen today. She said how she had to give up on the corporate world because she felt it was not beneficial to her physically, you know, health-wise, because living in that rat race of trying to live with that quote unquote work-life balance, she developed the understanding that she doesn't believe in having a work-life balance, because the things that are so closely related to one another, you can't balance separately. So I appreciate her for coming on there. Next week, I believe, I think he just signed, I think he sent me the email. We'll have my partner, Cool Mill Sharif, founder of Cool to Be Smart. I'll probably come on with the Cool to Be Smart t-shirt or something on next week to make sure I can pull up that. But make sure y'all visit Kareen Canty's website, because there's a few other things that you can put up a possibility call with her, which I've done myself recently. And it really, really was helpful to me as far as, you know, getting that engine started on pursuing something that I'm looking into. So I'm trying to be like some of these other folks. I'm trying to get out of clocking in and out of work for somebody else's whose name is on the side of a building. Nothing wrong with the people that I'm working for. It's just I'd rather make that money for myself. What's going on, Sapphire Gardner? You know, I'd rather make that money for myself instead of making it for other people. I've done it for them for quite some time. I've been working in the work field since I was 14 years old. So those of y'all who know me know that's well over 30 some odd years. So I've been doing that for other people for quite a long time, and it's time for me to do it for myself. So I did set up a possibility call with her on KareenCanty.com. And it's a few lot of things. You know, it can not just be about work and career. It can be about different life situations, because again, she is a coach of life now. And she also does have Shift to Play, which she has a TED Talk that she presented already. That was last March, I believe, when she put that TED Talk up. And again, big ups to her for coming on here. So any of y'all that have questions about some of this stuff, hit me up on hollathehomie@gmail.com or hit that website. A few other questions that I wanted to ask her was like, you know, do you feel that sacrifices are adequately being recognized or rewarded in her professional life? So those are things that people question from time to time. We ask ourselves, like, if I do this, will I get the rewards that I'm looking for? You know, when I asked her, like, what do I think the most significant sacrifice is? I asked that question because I wanted to see what weighed the most in her eyes in regards to, like, I really had to, you know, the old parable. When I was a child, I walked as a child, I behaved as a child. But when I became a man, I put away my childish things. So when I was in the corporate world, I acted in the corporate world. I behaved in the corporate world. When I left the corporate world, I blank. You know, so that's what I wanted to ask her. Like, what sacrifice did she make? What did she put away in order to be successful? And I appreciated her answer on that. Like, and I also asked the question as far as, like, what did she feel like? Was there a time where she didn't see, you know, a time when she had to choose between her personal life and then her professional achievement? Like, you know, what did she have to say about that? She was more along the lines of, like, she didn't really have to put a whole lot away. She just had to insert some of the things from her personal life into this journey. Meaning, like, she said she took her kids to work with her from time to time, like, especially James, because he's the youngest. He would be in the office with her, listening how to be advertisement in advertisement. And now, if any of y'all know him, J Royal Official, look him up at J Royal Official, you'll see that he is a walking billboard. He's the Ric Flair of the rap game. You know what I mean? And a lot of that was learned behavior from being around his mom while she was making that transition for the family, right? So I had a couple people ask a couple questions earlier in while she was talking. And let me see what they were saying over here. So somebody said along the lines of like, how did it feel to be able, how did it feel when you finally got that success? Like, how did it feel? Like, was it I wish I would have got a chance to ask her that question because I want to know, like, what did that feel like? Was it like a big burp? Like, oh, like you finally got it off your chest? So again, we'll continue to explore these. This was part one of said conversation because it did carry over from last week's talk about how do you get out your own way? Just recently, like I said, none of us are immune to being a roadblock to ourselves. So how do you prevent that? Or how do you get over your own hurdle when it's you that's blocking you? You have to take action. And that's similar to what was said today. Action had to be taken. You can't just contemplate on, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. But then you never do it. Like I said before, it's a poem of mine. I say, like, there's a reason why people hear you clearly, but they don't follow you. It's because you're like a bad jump shot. You get up and take aim, but you don't have any follow through. So follow through was what came to be, what brought about, shift to play, or follow through is what brought about her being able to work for herself and start her own, brand and stuff like that. So I'm very appreciative of everything that was said on here today because it may have filled in the blanks for a lot of people that may not have known what step to take. Exactly. Follow through, K Solo. You have to have follow through to set something up. You can set the dominoes up and paint this pretty picture all you want to. But if you don't push the first domino, none of them are going to fall. None of them are going to fall if you don't push the first domino. So again, thank you, Kareem, for talking to us about how you were able to push that first domino by not being afraid. We talk about this all the time on here, that fear is false evidence appearing real. So it looks like, it seems like it's real. It may even almost feel real. Would you say, Donovan? A plan without action is just a dream. It was all a dream. Dreams only come true when you act on them. When you act on them. Would you say everyone can see and hear you? What did I say? Oh, I read something else. Yeah, but if you don't act on your plan, if you fail to plan, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail, right? So if you don't act on said plan, you can put the schematics together all you want to. Like I said last week, you can draw a blueprint of a house. You can draw a blueprint of a house, but if you never never hammer one nail, nothing's gonna get built. You have to take action. You have to take action. So that's a plus. She talked about that. I talked, and she also talked about what effect it had on her well-being. She said balancing her nervous system is what she considered, what most people would consider having a work-life balance. Instead of being sporadic and spread out everywhere, she was able to balance her nervous system and like, okay, let's plan this out slowly. Like she said, she always thought she was going to be in art school, but she had a kid early. So she had to draw her pictures differently in her actions. And again, like we said before, it takes action. No plan comes to life if you don't take action on it. It's just a thought, an idea. You know how many ideas? I got whole notebooks over here. You know how many ideas I got in this notebook? Man, listen. And if I don't take action on any of them, then I'm just sitting here looking stupid, looking dumb in the mud. So again, if you don't take the time to chisel out your plan first, and then once you chisel it out, you dust it off and you put all the things that go accordingly to bring it to life and make it beautiful, then you're cheating yourself. So that's what we talked about today. You have to sacrifice in order to prevent from cheating yourself. You know? So again, thank you to Corrine Canty for coming on here, and make sure you visit her website, CorrineCanty.com. I've got it in both webs on both sites on Facebook and Instagram is Corrine, COREAN, Canty, CANTY.com. And with that, you can get a chance to see exactly. She tells her story on there. She gives her whole breakdown. She also has like the teal room, which is another, a branch of what she does, which is a room of wellness and healing and stuff like that. So she has a few of those things. What's going on, Danny Dukerson, Triple D? What's up, Sterling Armstrong? Glad y'all could pop in today. Hopefully y'all got a chance to rewind and catch all that Corrine had to say today, because she dropped some bars on here today. She sure did. It was a pleasure and an honor to have her on here. So again, like anytime y'all want to tap in, if you got something to say, you want to say it with your chest and say it out loud in the video, you can always. What's going on, Julia Marie? Good to see you. Glad you had a good graduation celebration, my lady. You making changes and sacrifices. See, what we talk about today is something that you just did as well. So again, big ups for tapping in with us today, for tuning in with us. But if any of y'all have anything to say, sometimes when we got the show going on live, you can call me up 702-551-5261. If you're on Instagram, you can come on here live and get on here and talk to me live. What'd you say? You don't know what the request means, but you figured it's good. It means you're requesting to be on here live, Danny. So if you ain't ready to get on here and talk, don't you tap that request button, because I'll put you on here just so the world can get some bars of old Triple D. But we coming to the end of this episode today. We had it says no, you cannot go on his IG live. If you got a question, you know what I mean. Sometimes people be on here and they got questions. But if we have you on as a guest, I got to make sure I get all your information, your email to our engineering program, to our engineering department, so they can get you on here so we can split screen it both ways. But again, so I want to make sure there's no confusion. We can't get you on both screens. It's just about we got to figure out how to do it and not get any echo or feedback. But again, thanks to Corrine Canty for coming on here. Thank all of y'all for always tuning in and tapping in with Holla at the Homie. McFadden Amber, Danny Dukerson, who else? Lucy Lowe, Myla Denise. Who else tapped in and tuned in with us today? Lulu Tally. Those are my regulars. You know what I mean? Jorge, he always saying something on here for me too, even when I ain't gonna see him at work later on tonight. But again, thank you for everybody who came on here. Big ups to my engineer / station owner / co-hostess of this morning show, The Morning Wood, that y'all can also tune in with us each and every Wednesday. Hump Day starting at 9 a.m. The a.m. side of things. Yeah, I came back to the crib today to chill out before I went to the gig. It's, being out there in that heat. It's 100. What it looks like? 116 degrees right now out here in Viva Las Vegas. So thank y'all all for staying inside and listening and tuning in and tapping in with the homie 360 the Poet. If you ever want to send me an email, send it to HOLLAATTHAHOMIE@gmail.com, and we'll answer your questions and get you tapped in. So join us next week for part 2 of Sacrifice for Success. Next week we'll have another guest on here. We'll make sure we got his email and everything so we can get split screened up for everybody who is involved. So again, thank y'all for always tuning in and tapping in with the homie. I'm the homie 360 the Poet. Until next time, I'm gonna holler at y'all in a minute.